Okay. Now I'm going to double check. It says I'm live and I want to make sure my screen isn't rotated. Okay. I'm good to go. I think I'll wait a little while just to see if anybody else is going to join. And I'll work on this while I'm waiting. Okay. So I wanted to do this video because right now I was filming like a check-in catch-up video, and apparently I'm out of camera space. And so I'll need to fix that because I don't think I had any huge things saved on there. I have several videos that I wanted to edit and put up, but I felt in light of recent events with the thing that shall remain nameless that it would be a bit tone deaf just to do like regular programming. And I know that's like totally self-inflicted, and most people, myself included, love booktube to be this nice escape, and I do too. I love it to be an escape, but I just felt like I should kind of check in, see how everyone's doing, um, and before I resume normal programming. So I am working on a bunting, like a decoration I'm going to have up for Easter. And so this is a lavender like flag. I'll be right back. Okay, I have a chicken roasting in the oven, and I did not want to overcook it, so I had to change the temperature. But working on this, and I want it to be up um, really soon because I think some spring cheer would just be really nice. So I thought while I was talking with everyone that I could um, put this together, work on this. So I have the lavender ones that I'm doing, and then I also have like a baby pink and a pastel yellow, baby blue, and then I have a really light green. It's like very, very light. Okay, I want to get a chat open just in case there are comments. I don't want to miss them. Okay, I have that. So yeah. So when like the news about everything happened and everything was shutting down last week, I was surprised at how overwhelmed and like emotional I was about it, because I knew it was coming, and my husband had been following all the news with it um, since January. And so I knew things were escalating, but then it just hit me really hard. And it's really, this is such a first world problem, but I was on such a roll with um, my reading for middle grade March. The first week of March, I read 13 books, and I have no idea how I did that, but I did. And so I was so bummed because then when it happened, I really just started DNFing things left and right. And then I couldn't tell if it was books that it was just the wrong time for them, or I just actually didn't like that book. I don't know. But I had some, like, one of the best week of reading I'd had all year in the first week of March. And then like everything came to a standstill, which again, I know is such a first world problem. And for all of you who are out there watching, I hope you have plenty of food and toilet paper, which apparently we have a shortage right now. And I am just so appreciative for all of the doctors and nurses and like receptionists at hospitals, and people still delivering mail, like so many people doing good things, people being willing to be the test cases for the vaccines that they're working on, or vaccine. And so I'm just really grateful for all of the kindness that has been shown. And I wanted to be one of those booktubers that made you like all this amazing content in this time when you were housebound. But my actual life hasn't changed that much. I was already home with my boys, and so it didn't change much in my daily schedule. And then with my chronic illness, like being housebound, I kind of already was and don't often have the energy to film. And I felt myself last week just not being in the right headspace to film. So I did want to give you guys, like extra content in this time, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And the reading slump, it's weird because before last year, I would always turn to mysteries as my like get out of a reading slump book. And then last year, for some reason, I went in this huge, I like spiraled into this huge mystery reading book slump. And it was so depressing because it was always my like, I felt like it was like my get out of jail free reading where like, oh boy, like I was starting to feel in a reading slump. And now I'm not because I read a mystery. And also I just loved them. So last year was super frustrating because I just didn't want to read mysteries. And then Cloak and Dagger Christmas rolled around, the like mystery readathon that I host with some other lovely booktubers, and I had a blast. I was like finally back into reading mysteries. And I then this year have treated it like it's a treat. And even though I'm reading for leisure, I've made these arbitrary rules for what I should be reading and not what I want to read. I'm reading for leisure and I still want to challenge myself. Like I feel like I do that with classics, but trying to branch out, trying yet again to read modern literary fiction. And I don't know why I do this to myself. I just don't get on with modern literary fiction. Unfortunately, I tried so much. So I then today was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna like scooch everything else to the side that is making me less enthusiastic about reading, and I'm gonna pick up a mystery. So I even like returned a couple of holds I had, audiobook wise, and checked out the next Maisie Dobbs mystery, which is Leaving Everything Most Loved. I think it's the 11th. It could be the 10th. And it felt so right as soon as I started listening to it. It felt like exactly what I had been wanting to listen to. And I was like, why do I delay treating myself with mysteries? I don't know. Um, so I just want to get back into the habit of reading them regularly and not giving myself guilt over reading things that I really want to read. So unfortunately, I think another thing that kind of threw off my reading this year. Hi, Bobby Sue Davis. Yes, we need all the comfort reads right now. I totally agree. And I think unfortunately my like template I made from the year. Oh yes, God, I can't stay long. I'm doing typing work from home, but it's good to see you. Oh, it's real. I agree. It's nice to see everyone in their homes. Um, but the reading goals I made at the beginning of the year where I had a template of like, I want to read, X amount of Victorian classics and, X amount of this and this. It ended up overwhelming me immediately, which this is what happens with TBRs and I never learn. And I don't know, I'm kind of have this dilemma where I feel like I want to challenge myself to read and come out of the year being proud of what I read, but I also want to really, really enjoy it. And so hopefully I can kind of figure out a way to make the two meet. But I just do these silly things where I'll pick things that I'm not that enthusiastic about reading. And so then I'll sit there kind of in a dilemma. Hi, Cynthia. I hope you're doing well. And just not really read instead. Then kind of like, oh, I should be reading that book, but just choosing to do clickbait on YouTube instead. So, like I said, it just felt so right as soon as I picked it up. Okay, Angela, hi. I'm reading a nonfiction. Oh my goodness, this is gritty about a ton of murders that happened in Mexico in 2008. I'm really considering to go up to some PG Woodhouse right now. I need some laughs. I was just thinking about picking up a PG Woodhouse. No joke. Especially because I saw there are a couple audiobooks available, which aren't we all so grateful now for ebooks and audiobooks to get us through this time? For, have things in your house that you aren't as interested in, although I know we should be like reading from our shelves also, but yeah. So I was also thinking about picking up some PG Woodhouse. And I'm trying to think of what else I had to say about that. I'm just kind of blathering on. Okay, so let me finish this triangle. Now, one thing though that I have been doing that has been just an utter delight is that I have been rereading Wives and Daughters. This is now the fourth time that I'm rereading it, and every time I pick it up again, I'm worried it's not going to live up to how much I loved it last time. But it totally does every single time. And I love this time, especially, I've really been slowly savoring it because I'm not reading it with anyone else. Um, oh, Illyria, yes, you should try PG Woodhouse. I agree. We could all use some laughs right now. I think it's good for us to be informed and to, to keep up with the current news, but also just a break. Give yourselves, set times that you look at the news. And yes, hi Bree. I'm so glad you're watching. Yes, this Victober sweatshirt. Oh, I love it so much. It does have kind of like pills on the sleeves now, but I still love it. I want to get one of those pill combs. I've heard there are pill combs. Um, so the thing that's really fun about reading Wives and Daughters and rereading it closely is really like Lucy the reader is great at doing this, just following the rabbit trails to um, whatever you happen across. So it says at one point that Lady Hamley or Mrs. Hamley, she's not Lady Hamley, she's not a title, but Mrs. Hamley reads aloud poetry by Felicia Hemans to Molly. And I just looked her up and I found one of her poems and I copied it down in cursive writing and I put it in that spot. And I thought, you know what? It will be there for me next time when I come to it and I can remember that I looked that up. But I had so much fun just copying this down slowly. And it's called Bring Flowers. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stanzas. And it was just so lovely. And oh yes, Bethany, you love Mrs. Hamley so much. I love her too. She's so sweet. So loving that, and it was just really sweet to picture them together listening to this poem. And also something I hadn't noticed before, there is chronic illness representation in Wives and Daughters, which I don't know why I just never really thought about before, because I knew the plot and I knew certain characters that had chronic illness, but I just hadn't thought of wording it that way. Okay, moving on to the next one. So that's something that's been really nice, like revisiting an old favorite and just taking your time. And I think sometimes when you become a part of the online book community, and I don't know, maybe people who are in the book community only as subscribers could tell me whether or not this is your experience. One part of the online book community, once I became a part of BookTube, you really put this pressure on yourself to read and to read quickly. And I've really, like, the way I read really changed once I joined BookTube. Oh, hello from Greece. Hello, FD. So nice to have you joining. I love Wives and Daughters. I'm a reading slump. Yes. So I think, and I've also felt really relieved. Like, I've seen so many people be in the same situation that I am, because I just felt really bad. Like, how much do I really love reading if I'm in a reading slump? But I think so many of us are. We're just so concerned about everything that's happening right now. I totally lost my train of thought. It's like kind of, oh, okay, yes. So it's changed my reading, and a lot of it, like, I love, it's made reading such a way of life and something that I love to do. But it's also really made me put pressure on myself to read quickly. So it's just been really lovely to savor Wives and Daughters. And I think it's a really good time. I liked that Katie from Books and Things is hosting like a TBR clear out readathon in April, and I think that could be really nice. And maybe picking up some old favorites that were on your shelves, which I don't know if they count as TBR though. Thinking about it again. What else did I want to talk about? I'm trying to think if there's any other things. I have been watching a lot of Korean dramas, so I'm sure at some point you will be seeing videos about Korean dramas on your channel. Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures talked about them so much. and just got me really wanting to try them. And I did, and now there's like no going back now. I'm just really, really excited about them. So that's been really fun, like a fun like rabbit trail to go down and look up just like how many there are. And yeah, so I'll definitely be doing videos about those. Um, but also, one thing that's nice is we got our tax return, and we always let ourselves get a little treat, each of us, with the tax return. And I got the complete Poirot series. It was on like a pretty decent sale on Amazon, and I was tired of like Poirot really hops around the different streaming services and it isn't always there. Um, so I was really, really pleased that I found it and it was on a sale, and I had, I just used my treat money on it, and now I have those DVDs forever. Um, so that's really nice. If any day that I like spontaneously want to um, watch a Poirot, I can watch those DVDs. So I think I might cut it short in a few minutes. Let's see, Illyria. Currently, I am strangely reluctant to read books and authors I love or think I will love, such as Wives and Daughters, because I don't want them to. Oh, I can totally see that. You don't want to think of it as that time. I guess on the flip side, the way I thought about it is thinking about like, oh, I remember how comforting that was during that time. But I could also see how you wouldn't want to like taint it. So hopefully, I don't know. Maybe you could just find, if you have some kind of genre fiction that you like romances or mysteries or science fiction, picking up something there could be fun. Yeah, it's just always kind of like I don't think there were many booktube videos out there like what kind of books to read during a pandemic, It wasn't really a category of video that was out there. So I think that's basically all I had to say. And I will resume normal programming. Um, yes. So thank you for stopping by if you did stop by. And this will be here for other people if they wanted to see it. And I will be back for normal programming very soon. Bye, everyone.